Marketing strategies to boost your business. We are thrilled to welcome back today's featured presenter, FTD Education Consultant and Jordan AIFD. We have two quick housekeeping notes. First, check out the handout section on your GoToWebinar control panel to download a PDF of today's presentation. Second, Anne will be answering questions throughout the webinar, so simply type your questions in that question box on the control panel, and we'll be sure to get those to her. All right, let's get started. Welcome, Anne.
Oh, thanks, Janet. Thank you very much. And also a big thanks to FTD for putting this together. I know that I've done so many different webinars, and with the business webinars, I know we most likely probably have shop owners and managers and maybe some key employees, but tends to be a bit of a smaller group. But this is so important. So I'm home. I'm actually in my kitchen at home, and it's a beautiful fall day here in Maine. And I think fall in New England isn't the same as if you're chiming in from Florida or Southern California, but it is a season of change no matter where you're calling in from. And I also know that October and March tend to be the slowest months within the floral industry. And of course, that goes flower shop to flower shop. But if in fact it is, we turn the calendar and tomorrow it's October 1st, maybe it's an ideal time to think about some strategies for marketing. So everybody who's attending is on this marketing journey. Some of you may be just starting, and some of you may have already dabbled in marketing and have a good sense of what's going on. So I had to look at this from that perspective, and I knew that I didn't want to make it too daunting, because if it appears to be that, then there's a good chance you don't do it. And so we all know that by nature. And so wherever you are on your marketing journey, I know there's a takeaway for you. So in preparing for this, I just wanted to make sure that it's going to be something that can be implemented from your part of view. So anyway, although this isn't really a second part in a series, I will say that it would behoove you to go back and watch, if you hadn't already watched, it's called Effective Branding Strategies to Build Your Business. And I did that for FTD back in March of this year, 25. And it's kind of a prelude to this. They both are separate topics with great data, but I think this one will make more sense to you if you do go back and watch that one. It would be good for you to do that. And maybe you're taking notes, but do know that this lives in history, so you can still find this workshop online, and I'll show you how to find that towards the end of our program today, so that if you're taking notes frantically and you think you might have missed something, you can always go back, bring in key employees and watch it together with them, and you can take out of this what's pertinent to you and to your business. So with that, let's get started. Let's see.
And you've got the branding strategies up.
I do, don't I? Hang on just a second. Let me go back over here. Let's see. It's down here somewhere. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Here we are. We're over here. Let's see. Oh. All right. Now I'm in the right place. Sorry about that. Okay. So for our marketing strategies, we want to know that marketing is more targeted. If you are just trying to get lots of likes and shares on some posts that you're doing, know that it's always beneficial. I wouldn't ask you to stop doing that. I'm just saying it's not marketing. Marketing is very targeted, and marketing also is a call to action. And so with that, We want to make sure that we are setting up these opportunities to have the customer really take action. So what do I mean by that? First of all, what you're going to do is figure out what's going on and what you want to achieve. Now, it could be that you want to increase everyday sales. It could be you want to increase your average order. So if your average order now is 50, you might want it to be 75, so forth and so on. Maybe it's weddings or events, sympathy business, corporate accounts is certainly a great way to generate more revenue for your store. Maybe it's visibility within your community and community involvement. Maybe you're ready to attract, really put in some effort to attract the younger generation, the millennials and Gen Y and Gen Z. Maybe holiday sales, it's a good time to focus on that with the holidays coming up for fall and for Christmas. Perhaps it's walk-in business. Maybe you need to increase walk-in business. It could be that it's web-driven sales that you're wanting to increase, or social media platforms. Now, I'm not suggesting by any means that it's all of these that you want to work into a strategy. I think for most of us, if we focus on 1 to 3 things, that's where our success is going to be. If we spread ourselves too thin, we're not going to have success, and therefore this campaign, this marketing campaign, is going to get stagnant. So pick 1 to 3 things that you know you can put the effort into to have the best results. Next, what are the opportunities? So maybe with what you want to achieve, it's going to come from you as a business owner or a manager or a key employee. But what are the opportunities? This is where you want to bring in your staff. I think this is the brainstorming session, and this might sound old-fashioned, but I love a vision board, still love a vision board, where you can take some of these ideas and really put it together. We're creative people, and we're also very visual people, and so perhaps a vision board. This is where you want to stay focused on growth with every step that you do. So for instance, if perhaps one of the things you're working on is that you want to attract the younger buyer. I think this generation is larger in size than baby boomers, so we should be focused on them. And if that's part of it, maybe part of your strategy is knowing that they don't use Facebook as much as they use TikTok and Instagram. So your focus is going to be there. Also, there's a different design style that they want, so you know that you're going to be promoting that. And also using the lingo that they use. This generation sort of has their own way of communicating, and maybe you need a younger staff member to help you with that. So that's what I'm talking about, opportunities. Certainly if it's web sales that you're trying to increase, it's search engine optimization that you need to be focused on, and making sure that your website is mobile friendly. Did you know that 73% of online sales are done through the phone? I know for me, I'm one that I only open my laptop now if I have a document that I have to work on. I'd rather do that from my laptop. But when it comes to making purchases or getting information from the web, it's from my smartphone. So that's what I mean by what are the opportunities. Maybe if gaining weddings is part of what you want to be working on, then you would come up with opportunities and ways that you would cross market. That's what I mean by that. So the next part of it is, where are you now? Now, if you have a great POS system, a lot of that data is stored right there for you, including if you don't have a budget planned for your marketing strategies. You would be able to go back and see what you spent on it in the last year or the last 12 months. So you can at least have a starting point when it comes to budgeting. And so you could use your POS system for that. Now, how will we do that? So these are the very specific action steps, and as detailed as you could possibly be. So this is the who, what, by when, the why, and the how. So an example of that would be if web business is what you're trying to accomplish, that's one of the strategies that you're going to work on. It would be, for instance, I want my web business up by 20% within the next 4 months. And then how you're specifically going to do it and who's going to get involved. Hopefully the whole staff is going to get involved in how to help you accomplish this. And with those action steps, go into motion. The next thing is tracking your performance. I'm going to go back to the POS system. It's going to help you do that. There are lots of other ways, but when you already have something within your store, so your POS system, and maybe you're not using it to its fullest advantage for you. Okay. Defining your strategies through a mission statement and vision statement. And I hope I don't lose you now, because a lot of people think that that's just for big companies and it's not a part of small business, but it absolutely is. And it's simpler than you think, and it's something that you can knock out, I bet, tonight. Your mission statement's your purpose. It's your core values. You know what they are. It's the heart of your brand. It's your primary focus. And so you can make it short and sweet. For instance, Starbucks, their mission statement is to inspire and nurture the human spirit, one person, one cup, one neighborhood at a time. Now, I can see somebody really adapting something like that, one vase at a time, right? Fill them all up. But see, it's simple, and you know who you are, so you could have a mission statement right away. Hopefully you already do. Okay, vision statement. Now, a vision statement differs in that now we're talking about your aspirations, your strategic goals, your plans for the future. So let's go back and get a cup of coffee at Starbucks. To establish this is their vision statement for Starbucks. To establish Starbucks as a premier purveyor of the finest coffees in the world while maintaining our uncompromising principles as we grow. See, it's really simple. So don't make it harder than it is, because the reason these things are needed are, it gives you clarity. You have made a statement. You have made a declaration as to who you are. And when we make a declaration as to who we are, we don't waver from it. We ought not waver from it. So it gives us clarity, doesn't it? It also keeps us on track. If you've stated a vision statement of what your goals are and you've pronounced it to your community and to your staff, then you're pretty well going to do it, aren't you? That's way it prevents benchmarks for you. It also lets your staff and your clients know where you stand. We can't be everything to everybody, but we can be gosh darn good at what we intend to be. And it kind of keeps us within those goalposts. We don't stray. This is what we are. We don't do this. We don't do this. We're here because that's what we do best. Here's my button. Establish your brand. Now, if you do go back and watch that other video, there's going to be a whole lot more to this, but I really believe in branding. I believe that it's the one thing that in design that we have for ourselves. It's something that nobody can take away from you. And in our very crowded field of floristry, this is very vital. So I hope you do go back and watch the workshop on branding. Branding, it's that intangible thing, isn't it? It's that thing that you either have it or you don't have it. It's an it factor. And it's truly the soul of your company. It's your uniqueness, it's your thumbprint, it's your specific ID. And your brand, if you don't conjure it up for yourself, and announce it proudly and loudly, people are going to come up with one for you, and it might not always be what you intend. We all have brands that we're very, very loyal to. And know this, when it comes to brands, the younger generation does not latch themselves onto a national brand as quickly as they will a smaller brand. And that's where we fit in, excuse me. So for my generation, I'm 68, so my generation latching onto a brand, I still wear Levi's, still drive a Chevy truck. You know, we stick to our brands. That's my generation, versus younger generation, they don't. So that could be that could work in our favor, correct? The same reason that you need a mission statement and a vision statement, the same way you need to identify your brand. Employees, customers, they have a benefit for knowing who and what you are. Delivers a clear message. You know it, and you're going to let the world know who you are and what you stand for. It confirms your credibility. You connect to your target. It motivates the buyer. It cements loyalty. Now, think of brands you're loyal to, and I bet these are the reasons why. I think I had something else to say about that. Huh. Why do I keep doing that? I went to the end of the thing. Oh, pardon me. Here we are. Let's see. Okay. Know who your customers are. Who's your target market? Okay. This is easier than you think too, and it's kind of fun. And this might be even something you can delegate to your staff members. You know, when you delegate things, they feel your staff feels on board, and once they're part of the planning, they're part of the implementation of it. So it's as easy truly as doing a Google search on your zip code. I Googled my zip code yesterday, and an AI generated snapshot of my community came right up. Now we service more than one zip code, so you're going to do this to more than one zip code areas. But I read the first 3 that came up in my Google search, and there's so much free information out there. This is not something that you have to hire a firm to do for you. You can do this in a quiet afternoon in your store. By doing that, you're going to find the demographics of your area. So this is the age, the average age of your community, the population of your area, the economic factors, the educational level of the people who live in your community, the household type and the size, all this wonderful information. So when you have this information and you know what you're working towards, you know now if you have the community base to support what your goals and aspirations are. So believe me, it's fun to do. And it would really behoove you to know exactly who's in your community, so you know who your targets, if your target is actually in your community. Establish the benefits, the features, and the value of what we do. So I'm talking about our flowers, our plants, the services that we have. How does it enhance the client's life? Now, when I'm with a group of florists in a business workshop, normally I'll ask that question, and this is what I'll hear. They will say the value of flowers is that there's fragrance, that they come in variety. Flowers come in beautiful colors. Somebody might make a statement that plants are healthy for the environment inside an office or a home. All those things are wonderful. And yes, it's true. It goes so much deeper than that. Quite a few years ago now, SAF released a study. And if this study isn't on your website, get it on there as soon as tomorrow. And you can find it from SAF. And it's scientifically proven that flowers enhance our mood and our overall well-being. Well, we know that because it's probably part of how we feel every day. That flowers reduce stress. That after receiving flowers, the recipient has a feeling of positivity and it reduces stress levels. That's all good stuff, right? And that the giver of flowers is seen as compassionate. Flowers release dopamine, and we know what dopamine is. It's that spark that we get. We feel excited and we feel happy. Flowers and plants add ambiance to any atmosphere, to any environment. And I've had proof of that just recently when a friend came over to have lunch with me, and I have plants and flowers everywhere. And she left my house and went directly to buy plants because she felt so wonderful in my home. And she cited specifically it was the plants. And so that is powerful to me, very, very powerful. But beyond those things, I think design itself is a value. And when we are creative people, it's innate in us. And so we don't value our own talent as much as people that are buying our designs do. So I would certainly add design itself and our creativity as a true value that is going to enhance our client's life. Our services, that's a value that enhances clients' life. We can do, some of us can do close to a time delivery. We can most certainly do, in most cases, same day delivery. We're connected globally by our relationship with FTD. And you can also add to that list what you do for event planning, that you're able to set up, you're able to have rentals. Whatever it is that you do specifically, that's what you're going to add here as a list of the benefits, the features, and the values of the material that we sell and the services that we provide. Okay, make sure I hit the right button this time. Know who your competitors are. Now, often when we talk about our competitors, the first thing that comes to mind is the florists that are within your community, the florists that are in the area that you service and deliver to. But it goes beyond that. It's anybody within the gift-giving business. And so we're talking about jewelers, gift shops, specialty boutiques, spas and restaurants certainly fit into that. And if your goal is to increase online sales, you know who your competitors are too, because when you do a Google search and you don't come up in the top 3, you know that those are your competitors. Those are the ones that are popping up in your area before you are. And so what we need to do is look at all of our competitors and find out what are they doing that's so special, and what are we doing that's better than what they're doing. And so it's a big part of it. So jot down who your competitors are as it relates to your strategic plan for marketing. So if it is online marketing, to do a Google search for yourself of your community and flowers and gifts, you know where you stand and what you have to do to move forward with that. Okay, planning your marketing investment. And here we've highlighted budget specifically. Now, this is a challenge, and I always try to find hard data on this, and it's kind of it's a moving thing. It's never the same. And so in speaking with groups of managers and shop owners, if they know the percentage of gross sales, it usually ranges between 3 and 5% of gross sales. Now, this is not something that I've read in a magazine. It's just something that from talking with florists in a business setting where I'm talking now specifically about FTD Bootcamp when we used to do that. when people did know a budgeted amount. So if you're looking for a hard and fast dollar figure, I can't give it to you. All I can say is you can go back and see what you spent on marketing endeavors in the last 12 months or the last year, and at least have a starting point. So what that means, if you do, I'll pick a number, $500,000 in sales, you're going to spend, your marketing budget is going to be between $15,000 and $25,000. Again, it's just a place to start. If you're just starting, maybe that number needs to be a whole lot higher. If there's something very specific that you really have to spend some money on to get moving and shaking in it, maybe that's the event business, then maybe that number has to be higher, but you've got to start somewhere and take a stab at it. Go by the data that you already have. Time, effort, and energy. How much of that are you willing to spend on a marketing strategy? Now, if you've set aside Friday at 3 in the afternoon is going to be your time to work on marketing strategies when you just got out 3 weddings and you have a funeral coming in tomorrow and everybody wants to go home for the weekend, well, then you're not going to give it much time, money, or effort. And when I talk to people that have worked with creating marketing strategies for themselves, how are you doing with that? And you can see that they don't make their own personal goal to time, effort, and energy. And so you need to pick a specific day and stick to it, that you are going to really sit down and find out if you're going to put in all this effort and time, you really need it to be effective. And so I hope that's helpful in that you have a starting point. But remember, it's a strategy and it's a campaign, and it's something that you have to work on. And if you're not willing to do that, don't spend any money just yet. Wait till you're really ready and serious, because other than that, you're just throwing your money at something that you hope will stick and you hope will bring in revenue, but you really don't have a plan just yet until you've put this all into place. Cross marketing. Now, this is really 2 folds to this. If you look at the little picture on the side, certainly we're talking about our traditional marketing, but strategies. So traditional marketing, I'm thinking about TV, radio, and print. That's traditional marketing. And then we're going to move into what we're doing with our website, and of course with everything that we can do with social media and email marketing. This is all cross marketing, and so there's another facet to it. So cross marketing, we're also going to talk about QR codes. Now, QR codes, when they came out, it was, really pretty cool, and we were sharing information that way. But the reason why, and then they started to fade until COVID, and then with COVID, QR codes really came back, and now you're seeing it everywhere. If you go to a restaurant and you have to snap a picture of a QR code to even bring up a menu. And so QR codes are still very important to have. Of course, the web address, getting email addresses, it's the king. It's the king of marketing. It still will be, because there you're able to do email marketing, and it's very targeted. These are your customers. They gave you their email address, so collecting that is still king to marketing. And so we're still not talking about things that cost too much money, are we? Social media, of course, that's here to stay. Knowing how to use it and who to use it for is important. So who's using which? So what generation is using what type of platform is important to know. Making sure that these are the little icons, the Facebook, the Pinterest, all of that, all those icons, that they're on absolutely everything. So people of all demographics know how to reach you quick. And the other side of it, cross marketing, is your collaborations with other businesses. So if we speak specifically of weddings, maybe you're collaborating with the photographers and hotels, anybody that services weddings. So this is the collaboration part of things. And also there's influencers here. And so with that, influencers, we think about influencers of being the big mega influencers. If you follow some, there's also the macro, the micro, and we might be micro, we might be nano influencers. You might have an audience of 100, but you have them, and you still are an influencer to them. And when you're putting out really good content, and we do really cool things, so there's no reason for us not to. It might seem mundane to us what we do day in and day out, but know this: in your community, you are the artist. You're the one that's doing this cool stuff. Even if you're doing a webinar about care and handling, how to cut flowers, how to make a bow, how to do design work, all of this within your community, you can be the influencer. And you can start as nano, but I bet you can move up to a micro and a macro and a mega influence all within your community. Don't discount who you are and who you can be with the people that buy from you. If you're not telling your story in a fun way, and I think I am more compelled now to click on a reel or click on something with action than something that's still. So I really think that these quick videos are going to be ways to start being comfortable about being in front of the camera, knowing that it's so much easier to do than it had ever been before. So hopefully that's something that that you can use for yourself. So again, tapping into your partners, the network, this is still part of cross marketing. What are the opportunities there? And so beyond other businesses, there's your Chamber of Commerce. Hopefully you're involved with that. Other civic organizations. I know around here, Rotarians, they do a lot within the community. A lot of people talk about BNI, the business network, that they did really well working with BNI. So that's another way that you're cross marketing. And that's what they're known for. Garden clubs would help promote you. And also any other community outreach things that are just there for you to get involved with. That's all part of what we're talking about. And a lot of that, we haven't really talked about spending any money with any of that, really, have we? So that's all there waiting for you. Engaging in public relations. Now, public relations, this is across the board something that you can do that is so cost effective. And so we're talking about all kinds of different things where we can stimulate people to connect with us in real time. And so public relations could be, is the human side of your brand. It's your story. It's your unique story. And public relations are asking you to just share it. Get that information out there as loud as you can. It's awareness of your brand. You've established who you are. So now you want everybody to be aware of that brand. Now, sometimes we think about calling in PR, public relations, because of a reputation. So for florists, usually this means that maybe there was an unfair review posted and that we know now that it's damage control and we just have to bury that kind of quickly. And so there's ways to handle that, certainly. Press releases. I wish it wasn't called press releases, because when we say that, we think it's just for print. But press releases can be used for all of social media as well. If you get a great review, it should be on your website as well. Have a whole category of these wonderful notes and letters that you receive after doing a fabulous job on a wedding or an event. That's what you want, how you want to be sharing and promoting that information. Being visible certainly in your community. This is certainly telling your story of how you got into the business in the first place. Some of us got into the business in really different ways, and so it's part of that connection. And when people feel connected to you emotionally, they tend to stay with you as really good customers over a really long time. You can have a whole section on just the quality of the product that you buy in. How about where flowers come from in the first place? If you're buying locally, if you're buying from, a lot of our product comes from California and all around the world. I think that is very compelling story. Of course, just plants themselves as a category. Most people are telling me that their plant sales have been fabulous lately. And so why and how are you designing with plants? And how are they being used around the home? I think quality and care and handling could really be a wonderful little public relations thing as well. What are you doing within the community? And you can get that message out about the wonderful things that you're doing. Remember, the younger generation is really going to get involved with any small business that's committed to something that they feel has value. So what are you committed to within your community that has value that this younger generation will say, you know what, if they support that, I'm going to support them. Okay. Being tech savvy. So technology for a lot of people is a struggle. I'm probably one of them, but that's significant because of my age group, where the younger generation, it's intuitive to them because they basically grew up in it. And so we're all at a different level with our abilities here, but if I can learn to do it, anybody can. So let's see what we're talking about. Always be generating a way to collect email addresses. As I said earlier, it's still the king of marketing. And so very, very direct ways to get to customers. You're not weeding through anything this way. You are reaching out to people who already have reached out to you. And so find ways, clever ways to keep collecting those email addresses or email marketing strategies. Pretty obvious with that. YouTube or blog posting. If you're not doing it, it's so much easier with AI now to generate some really cool things. And if you're not ready to do something that's more of a longer post, start with these quick reels. It really can be fun. Make it fun. Show the personality of you, your staff, and make sure that your brand is out there loud and clear. So here we are embracing the social media and all the different platforms. Of course, making sure that you know how to use Yelp and Google Alerts. You want to know what other people are saying about you. And it's really, really important. That's easy to do. Understanding, of course, the digital lexicon. So this is all the hashtags, likes, shares, all of that, the subscriptions, all of that, making sure that you're aware of how effectively to use all of that. And then AI generated content, and they can also use, you can also use AI to generate video, help you generate videos. And I warn you here because all of us have been maybe on YouTube and you've engaged in something and you say, you know, this isn't real. So I really warn you here that generate things that are generated through AI cannot seem as you. It seems not your, it's off brand a little bit. Maybe that goes a little bit too far sometimes. I know recently, not for FT, but for another client, I wrote something up and then we ran it through AI and I said, that doesn't really sound like my words at all. It really changed it. It really romanced it a little bit more than that it had actually come from me. And so you do have to be a little bit careful with AI. You do want to make sure that it's still genuine to you and to your brand. And so be careful with that. Now, with all of this, all of the marketing, we're trying to get our message out there. And we're also trying to get people to take a step further, to engage with us on our social media endeavors. And we're also hoping that they're then going to what? Purchase something from us, or work with us with weddings and events. And so it's in a little snapshot of our customers' journey of how they get to us. So of course, the best way is physical word of mouth. Somebody had a fabulous experience, or many, many, many fabulous experiences with you. And somebody says, I need a florist, who do you recommend? Face-to-face word of mouth is always the best way. But creeping up on that is, of course, social media. And so with that, we know the next step is they're going to go to Google, or they're going to go to Instagram, and they're going to do a search. It's going to be flowers or weddings within this area, and they're going to be specific about it, and something's going to pop up. And hopefully you're there in the top 3, because we know they're probably not going to go further down. And you got to be honest with yourself. Do you go much further down than the top 3 before you click on something? And then when you do click on something, maybe the next step is to go down and read reviews. And how far do you go down and read in reviews? Maybe 3, maybe 5. And at that point, after they've done that much work, which is really, we're talking about minutes here, then the decision comes to who they're going to buy from. So let's say it's day-to-day sales, and you're wanting to increase your day-to-day sales, and this is an order for something, birthday, anniversary, something like that. They decide to give you that chance. So along this journey of the customer, trust isn't there yet. They're giving you a chance. And so from that first time buyer, a lot has to happen. Now, we're looking for things that are going to convince them to stay with us as a long-term customer. We want that relationship with them. And remember the value of what we do. And value is determined by design itself, as I mentioned, but also longevity. If we think a bouquet should last 7 days, and that's expectation, and the bouquet lasts 10 days, then that's what? It's beyond expectation, isn't it? And so that's where we have to kick back in to make sure that our quality of product that we're buying and our care and handling is absolutely the best possible. Because again, we want this customer stick, so they want value, and they want to know that their dollars spent equal that. Time delivery. I think most flower shops that I've worked with, the most complaints they get, if their care and handling is good, is probably about delivery not being on time. So that has to be, it has to happen. Customer service, that they're delighted by your staff, that has to be involved. And of course, as I said, design itself. If all of that happens for that first time buyer, then That's when trust happens. And when trust happens, they buy into your brand, they buy into you, they buy into your staff and your product. That's when they share the word about their experience, all the marketing that you did to get them to click on you or to call you. It happened. You got them. You delivered. The service was there, the quality was there, the delight was there, the product was fabulous. You got them. Your work paid off. And now their job starts. They trust you and they start spreading the word for you about you and your product. And that's called trust, and it's called a long-term client. That's what it's all about, folks, in a nutshell. Oh, did I miss one? Influencer. Well, we did kind of already talk about that, didn't we? Okay, some resources for you. Now, I had mentioned the workshop that I had already done, so that's on YouTube, and anything that you want to print. So if I spoke too fast or you didn't, you can't keep up with notes, then you can go back and re-watch this with your staff that it's pertinent to, and take notes from that at your own pace and at your own speed. If you want this workshop to download and print, to write on, you can do that through ftdi.com, and FTD University still has a lot of data storage there. And then if you want any posters, they're still available. They're really fun and bright and lively to add to your store. That's still available on FTD local marketing materials. Now, I can't speak highly enough of Society of American Florists. If you're not a member, I encourage you wholeheartedly to look into it. Floral management is like a life's blood. Every single issue, they have 12 issues a year, one a month, no, do they? Yes, they do. It's just amazing, the information that they have there. I found it pretty interesting in reading an issue about Marketer of the Year. Of course, with speaking to you on this topic, I was wondering who the Marketer of the Year is this year through SCSAF, Society of American Florists. And it's Tiger Lily. I believe they've won this before, but Tiger Lily is really a fabulous store, and I used to follow them. And they're in Charleston, South Carolina, of course, such a charming town, right? But it was really interesting why they were awarded that. And I've forgotten what issue it was in, but Tiger Lily was awarded Marketer of the Year not because of their efforts that came from social media marketing or online market. It was grassroots marketing. And it was, they were involved with the Pedal It Forward. And it was so compelling, their story, because they used cross marketing, how they got everything in the community involved in Pedal It Forward. And so I loved hearing that story, because we think about marketing now as all the efforts, and I'm not saying it isn't important to the endeavors with social media marketing and with e-commerce. That's of course important, but I thought that was really, really great that they got that award for more of a grassroots campaign. SAF magazine also has a monthly digital strategies. And so if you're struggling with e-commerce, or if you're struggling with all the social media marketing, I read several articles in the last few days in preparing to talk to you. It's targeted directly to us. And so again, latching onto them. I know if you reach out to them with any issues that you have, because I know in writing several programs, I would just call them and say, hey, shoot me some magazines that relate to this topic, and they're on it. They're there for us. Now, Florist Review magazine is, back when I started floristry back in the early 80s, there were probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 US-based magazines related to the floral industry. And the last one standing, the last 2 actually, are Floral Management magazine through SAF, and then Florist Review magazine. Very, very vital. And again, these are the things that are going to keep us very, very current in what we're doing. And so, just like any other professional, your dentist, your lawyer, your accountant, you want to know that they are up to date on everything that's happening in their industry. And our clients need to depend on us for the same things. So I encourage you to get involved with both of those things. Then also, if you're fortunate enough to still have a state or local florist association, I know some of the state florist associations are multi-state, and they're still so vital to what we do. And so those are great and wonderful resources for you to follow up on your endeavor for marketing and marketing strategies. And I think Janet, that concludes what I had wanted to talk to everybody. I hope that none of it seems challenging or daunting, and I hope it sounds like something that you can accomplish with your staff to the best outcomes. And so I'll ask now, Janet, do we have anybody have any questions?
I don't have any questions at the moment. Nothing that came in during it. So yeah, if you do have any questions for Ann on any of this, simply type your question in that question box on the control panel, and I will be sure to ask her. For quick clarification, Florist Review magazine comes out monthly, so that's 12 issues a year. Floral Management comes out bi-monthly, so that is 6 issues a year.
6 issues. Okay,
so,
thank you.
There's so much information in there, great information, and that you felt like it was 12 issues.
Yes, I know. Well, I think you sent me 12 issues.
I might have, Sharon. So yeah, definitely great resources for everybody. And then I just also wanted to, while we're waiting to see if any questions come in, and you did mention it, that the recording of your previous webinar, the branding webinar that we did in March, is available. And you can find it 2 ways. You can either go on that first link on ftdi.com/ftuniversity. That's where the webinar archives are. Or you can go to, and you can click on the video, the Watch Now button too, but you can also download the PDF of the presentation. It's also in the handout section, as I mentioned at the beginning, so feel free to grab that from there, but if not, it'll be available on there. And then the video is also on our YouTube channel, Mercury Network, as well. So,
and it's just not those things. There is so much in those locations for you, for business and for design. So make sure you check that out.
Yeah, a lot of great stuff. And there was a lot of information here, so I highly recommend that you go, and I'm sure everybody's going to want to sit and watch this again. Print that PDF. I love to take notes on that, so it kind of helps jog my memory better for that. So, and I think I still don't see any questions, Ann. I think everybody's just sitting there like, wow, that was so much great information. I'm not even sure where to ask. So.
Well, good. Well, I certainly hope so. Well, listen, everybody. Thank you again, Janet. Tell everybody at FTD how much we appreciate your efforts, and I'll say goodbye to everybody. I hope that this season coming up is just so wonderful for you. It's the last of year 2025. I can't believe we're already moving the calendar to October. So I hope your sales this holiday season are fabulous, and I'll say goodbye and God bless to everybody.
Awesome. Yep. Just thank you everybody too for joining us today. A recording will be available, just like the others previous ones, on demand on the FTD Mercury Network Florist YouTube channel that I just mentioned, And for more education programming from FTDI or from FTD, please visit ftdi.com to register for those upcoming free webinars and design shows and view the past education programs on demand. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye, Janet.